study aspect of the ethical and responsible use of AI and robotics applications.
So I'm really excited about coming over to Singapore, hopefully when all the borders are open, and we will be there physically in August next year. And one of the reasons why is because I created World of Drones and Robotics Congress along with my business partners to be able to provide a place for business networking. And though we love to speak to each other, it's not quite the same as being across the same table as each other and actually talking about ideas. And so all drones are robots. Not all robots are drones, but they sit inside the same ecosystem piece, which is an incredibly powerful opportunity.
Enabling the resilience or increasing the resilience of drones in our urban environments. And that is one of the challenges of having we've also found that the biggest problem with such control systems or autopilots for drones flying in highly turbulent environments is that the actuation has the biggest time lag. So from the time you sense a disturbance to the time you compute it, there's not much time lag. But the most of the time lag is sending that command to actuate and correct for maneuvers.
From 2019 to 2024, it is expected to grow at a rate of compounded annual growth rate of more than 10%. So, from a customer's perspective, what do they need to look out for if they want to adopt such a solution?
We are responsible for innovation and makerspace, and the whole mandate is getting industry to adopt AI. AI apprentices are not students. They are Singaporeans who actually quit their jobs to join our apprenticeship program.
Actually, one of the point that Lawrence mentioned, where the big boys are the one that probably are the laggards. Maybe we could talk a little bit around why do we think some of the AI projects succeed and why do you think some of the projects fail? What are the causes? What are the roots? Lawrence, what do you think?
Very often, a lot of AI projects are started because the boss read about something interesting in the paper, and then basically turn around and tell the people, his staff, right, let's do an AI project.
The integration of AI into their system, because most big companies have very sophisticated data sets, data systems like SAP and so on. And if you put in let's say a data scientist into it without fully integration. Earlier we heard about, or rather I was privy to a talk on talking about cross-training. When they hire new people, they don't cross-train the experts.
By combining these two ideas, we use AI to figure out how to best match these jobs to these drivers. And that is how we actually become more operational ready. Without using AI, it's really impossible to try to match these jobs to the driver.
But nowadays, you try that, you probably feel that it's not too bad. Okay, it's not too bad. But that's a weak AI. It can only do translation. Okay, you cannot drive a car. Now, what the other people like Elon Musk and Steven Spielberg or Stephen Hawking are concerned about is what they call the strong AI. That's when AI development comes to a stage where they can actually do most of the things that human can do. And once you reach that point, they may even do better. They will excel much better than human. So they will surpass the human. And that's where the concern is.
And we thought we get an expert to interpret the rules, and then we do some forward and backward chaining, and then after it, voila, we can come up with solutions to. But unfortunately, it does not work that way.
So, as you can tell, right, besides pure productivity gains, right, we also want to see how our workforce can be augmented, and more importantly, drive the need to support greater customer demand, greater customer centricity.
Right. So there's this wonderful quote that I'll just read out to you, because that kind of encapsulates the point that I'm trying to bring here, right? To adopt a people-first approach or people-centric approach when you implement automation, right? And why is this important? Because, as the quote says, one machine can do the work of 50 ordinary men, but no machine can do the work of one extraordinary man.
And again, it's about setting expectations as well. I think sometimes we assume that our learners have a level of sort of, ability when it comes to technology a lot of the time, or an automatic understanding. And I know there's that term digital natives, or, but even, people who are quite au fait with technology in particular areas of their work or their life. We can't assume, though, that they will automatically understand the technology that we want them to use for learning.
The importance of human factor engineering is been discussed in many ways. And the question is, how do you define human factors? So, simply put, the human factor deals with the human interaction with the environment, and in particular, it covers interaction with technology and how human abilities and limits can be taken into account with the design of this technology.
Robotics has also been a part of the research that I do, most particularly in an ongoing project that I've been involved in called RoboTips. This project is led at the University of Oxford by Marina Jirotka. When we conduct computing in a human-centric way, we are enhancing the quality of the computing systems we are interested in. We remember that the system is going to be embedded in a social context, to be used in a workplace, at home, or in public, and that it will interact with humans in direct and perhaps indirect ways.
Given that the robotics or the use of AIs and robotics, right, in the commercial space, in public spaces, in our daily lives is not going to go away. Many countries are putting now in place, right, regulations, laws, right, ensuring what AI needs to do and how to make sure that AI is actually able to deliver what it's supposed to deliver. Right?
So I'm happy to share some of what I have seen and heard and learned in the last couple of years working on AI projects with you today. So essentially, when we talk about AI, we talk about black boxes, and we talk about, black boxes as the very scary aspect in healthcare AI. But actually, who are the biggest AI in healthcare?
And today, we have the privilege of working together with Enterprise Ireland to explore the adoption of AI, artificial intelligence, in the space of future of learning.
Thanks to you, Oliver, and to all of the team at Appara and Conceller for this series of seminars in the AIBotics 2021 Go Digital series, and especially for organising today's event on artificial intelligence and the future of learning, which has a focus that I'm very proud of on the Irish contribution in that area. Irish companies are at the forefront of innovation and digital solutions in a whole range of areas, whether it's online payments, other areas of fintech, regtech, insurtech. You'll find Irish companies are there driving innovation, driving solutions, and driving more effective impacts for companies and improvements in people's lives. So it's no surprise really that when you put together a great education system in a country and a great thrust for innovation and technology, which is in its own way driven by that education system, that you get a great edtech ecosystem developing in Ireland.
Everyone is assumed to have the same brain and learn at the same pace with the same learning models. Yet no brain is the same. We are all being taught in the exact same way and expected to understand everything we are taught. In parallel, employers globally have been forced to implement a remote learning model in any business where it has been possible to do so. Employers have also experienced significant cost savings when it comes to their learning and development budgets, and there's still opportunity to tackle this using AI at a broader and more nuanced level.
Now, there are advocates that promote the expected outcome of AI value. And this is one diagram that shows how AI can contribute at different levels, from the perception level all the way to situation awareness. Of course, that's a level we all want to reach eventually, because the deployment of AI solutions has the outcome to achieve a lot more. But in the very early stage, right, of AI deployment, we just want to know what's happening. In other words, you must be able to collect data and understand that activities are happening. Aren't we talking about the same thing for AI as well? We want AI to be able to contribute to the performance of your organization. And if you build an AI because you hope to get something done and it takes a long time to build it, by the time you complete the process, the business scenario may have evolved. The key point on the drive is that we need to look at the three experiences within an organization and how AI can supplement and support and enhance on those experiences. Now, let's now take a different cut on the AI experience, right? This is a statement that was published recently this year in one of the magazines. Half the time when companies say they need AI, what they really need is a select clause by a group.
The key words for the future technology in 2020 was magic. A magic to change the world. Mobility, AI, and 5G, intelligent robot, and cooperation.
President Moon Jae-in is focusing his efforts on revamping the nation's sluggish economy. Continuing his nationwide economic tour that began last year, he visited Daegu today with an emphasis on the use of robotics in the manufacturing sector. Our Park Hee-jun has the story.
South Korea will become one of the top 4 countries in the robotics industry within the next 5 years. President Moon Jae-in announced that ambition on Friday on an economic tour of the city of Daegu, where he met with around 300 government officials, business leaders, and scholars working in robotics.
There's 5 strategies. So the first dimension is about human resource. We have to improve the quality of the workforce in human resource in robotics, automation, and digital. So,
in our recent Prime Minister's budget for the 12th mission plan, the government has put in a lot of budget to help drive this framework.
Robotics is one of the top disruptive technologies. This is plus the cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and other, but it is one of the top disruptive technologies in terms of potential global economic